How awesome was that? I bet that 3-second clip got you hooked. Yes, I know. Don't watch the video ahead. Just write in the comment what is in your mind. After watching that 3-second clip without any context, what is the first thought in your mind? Write down in the comments. I really want to know. So if you guys don't know me, I'm Ajesh Nair. I'm making a super cool, awesome time travel game with beautiful pixel art. I've shared many gameplay and progress video before, and some of you guys are confused that the game is a puzzle based game or a speedrunner type of game. So I wanted to confuse you guys more because this game breaks that one main rule of game development. It breaks the genre. It doesn't stick to just one genre, so it is a puzzle game, it is a speedrunner game, an action platformer game, and many more. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Yeah, that was a cool movie. Anyway, today I will share a boss battle. The gameplay of that boss battle is so unique and weird that I cannot explain because it will spoil the fun and I can't half explain or partially explain the concept because it will still ruin the story for you. So unfortunately, I will not explain the gameplay part, but I will explain how the graphics are made. Not just for this level, I'll explain my entire graphics development process. So let's start. So first, for any boss or level design, we start with some real life examples. So suppose if I am making a Chinese forest/temple theme, then I'll start making the storyboard with real life examples, real life photos, and some game examples too. Then I add the fantasy items or things that are required for the gameplay. Like in the current scene, I need a lot of mobility and very quickness and a lot of space. So I'll mix those two things, real life places and my fantasy item or gameplay items. Then I come up with a theme. For example, I need a levitating platform and we don't have that in real forest. So I try to bring up something which makes the gameplay a little fun and also makes sense in the scene. So I've made these bamboo platforms attached to the trees. So it acts as a platform at the same time also a part of the scene. So it doesn't break the logic that much. I don't want a platform hanging in the air with like no supports. After that, I draw some rough sketches for some levels because sometimes the level feels so good in our mind, but on paper or screen, it looks bad. And sometimes I just make them with squares, just as placeholder to understand the structure of the scene. Once a rough version or a placeholder version is done, a gameplay set around that, and I do a lot of play testing and check the stage or the boss fight to make sure it is interesting because I don't have much money to revert back if the level feels boring. And then I start the actual design process. The most interesting and frustrating part of my game dev is the environment design process. I have to make my artist understand the feel, the vibe and the color of the scene in just words. I may have a beautiful scene in my mind, but I cannot explain that in words. And I'm a terrible artist to draw and show him. So the design process is not just the graphics of the game. What the gameplay wants the player to feel is also conveyed through design. Wow, that was a great quote. So what I mean is, suppose if I want to make the boss feel larger than life, then I make the environment in such a way that it supports that thought. And now in my current level, as I said, I need a lot of mobility and speed. So we have to draw and design levels in such a way that before even playing, the player should feel that. For the design process, we have 4 main elements: backgrounds, midground used for parallax and animations, front layers and props, active and passive. We start with the background. It is fairly easy and very less detailed. After that, we make mid layers, which are used to show depths, movement and adding some minor animations to make the entire scene alive. You hardly notice it in games, but it makes a huge impact to the overall beauty of the scene. The front layer design is very hard because it has to blend the player, boss, NPCs, all the important stuff with the overall scene. And they should drive the focus towards the player and not towards them. I had done that mistake in the past and I've made an entire video on it. Then we do some prop design. some interactive one, and some are just for decoration. The entire design process sounds very easy and smooth, but it is not. It takes a hell lot of iterations. We go back and forth many times to get the perfect look. Sometimes even great designs don't match the scene or vibe that we want to create. Once the basic version is ready, then the artist starts to add lights, shades, texture, and more detail to the final scene. Once the final scene is ready, we start with the basic animations for the environment. As I said, to make it look more alive, and we try to keep the animation super subtle. We add particles also to show some dynamic effects in some stages, and then we start the expansion. So in my case, my scene is super big, huge scene, right? But I cannot make the scene this big graphically. Filling every pixel of that scene is impossible. Otherwise, I will be homeless. So we make a smaller chunk of graphics and then expand it with tiles and props. All the games do that. We convert the design into tile maps, repeating backgrounds, making variation of some design, and we make the full scene. After that, we add the graphics to the scene and test it thoroughly. And still do some revisions sometimes. Sometimes it feels like a forever loop and we keep on adding improvements. And sometimes we come up with new mechanics inspired by the graphics. It happens a lot of time. We get new ideas from the graphics and level design and add new mechanics, which makes the scene even better. So that's how we make awesome levels. I wish I could have shown you the entire boss battle, but I don't want to spoil the game. I want you guys to play it yourself. And for that, you have to subscribe to my awesome channel. Look at the number of subscribers I have. And now look at my work. Don't you think I deserve more? At least a 10k subs? At least help me reach 2k quickly so that I can motivate myself to work faster. Hit that subscribe button and join my Discord where I post updates of my game. And if you have any questions, queries, or feedback for the game, feel free to ask. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye and take care. And if you don't subscribe, then